In this lesson, we are going to learn about source text and we will also see some other options about text. First, let's take a look how to create this type of animation. This is not very complex to create, but again, you have to be patient. It may take some time to create as we need to change letters frequently. So I'm going to copy all these layers which contains our board animation. I believe you can create it now. So just create a new composition and paste all layers. So our board animation is here. Zoom timeline, and now we have to create text on it. So let's grab type tool and just type 0 and 1 for whole line until it fills the board. Let's take selection tool and adjust its position where you want to keep it finally. Now double click on it, press Ctrl or Command C to copy this line, and I'm going to paste it several times so that it will completely fill our board. Alright, it's very important to have all text on one layer. It will help us a lot to save time. Now select this layer and trim it. Expand it, and under text property, we will have this source text option. If we explain it in brief, this option allows us to change letters of the text on each keyframe. So let's add a keyframe on it, and it will show here a different kind of keyframe. It's special for source text. Now just double click on it and change letters randomly, like 0 to 1, 1 to 0, and so on. It has no theory. I just want to create a typical coding animation. Now go to next frame and do same work again, that is changing letters randomly. And you need to change many letters so that when it will play, we will get variations. But if you look on timeline, you won't get any keyframe on it. Don't worry. As soon as you click here or go to next frame, it will immediately add keyframe to it. What it will do? When you switch between these keyframes, you will find different letter arrangements. That is, it will change letters on both keyframes. Go to next frame, and again I change letters randomly. And make sure letters will not go beyond line. Do not make such mistakes. Now switch between these keyframes and you will find letters are changing. Now just take some time and do it couple of times to get good amount of variations, same as we have done in this composition. If we expand this text layer, you will find that we have many keyframes on this source text option. And because of this, you will get variations in letters on each keyframe. Now we have to create another animation, that is this typewriter effect. So go to Comp 2 and I'm going to add opacity effect to it. It will add opacity with this range selector and we will get some options inside it. Let's set its opacity to 0 and add a keyframe to start value. Let me close this paragraph panel so that we have more space to work. Go to 2 seconds. Now when you start to increase the start value, it will create the animation. And if you look closely, you'll get this red line which is actually range selector. When we change the start value, this line will move, and all characters which are left side to this line will not be in range. It means when this red line will pass through any character of this text, opacity effect will not be applied to that. As we have set opacity value to 0, so all characters which are left side to red line will have their opacity to 100. Same will happen with end parameter too, but it will work from end of the line, just opposite of the start parameter. Now let's increase it to 100. Now if you play it, you will get this typewriter effect. Alright, except this, there are some other things you need to know. Here we have more options included with the text. To understand it, let's create a new composition. Now take text tool, and I'm going to type After Effects. Actually it's of white color, so getting merged with the background. Put it to the center of the composition And let's keep it of big size so that we can see clearly what's happening. Now expand text properties and go under more options. Here we have couple of parameters, and first is anchor point grouping, which is set to character. Let's add an effect to it. Rotation will be good to understand it. Now if we increase this rotation, you can see all characters are rotating individually around their anchor point, which is this red cross presented below all characters. And this is happening because it's set to character. If we change it to word, now each word will rotate individually except each character. Let me undo it. Here line option is disabled because we have only one line on this text. So just double click on it and add few more text to it in other line. Let's set it to line, and now it will rotate each line except each character or each word. It's very handy. Now select this text, and if we go to character panel, we will also have option to add stroke on the text. Just double click on it and let's add a red stroke to it. Now we have nice stroke on our text. Let's increase its width. I'm going to set it to 20 pixels. What do you see? Strokes on each characters are touching to each other, but they won't come over the fill. It will happen even if we increase stroke width some more. At this time, characters are getting some disturbed, but still stroke is below to the text because here it's set to fill over stroke. If we change it to stroke over fill, now text will not be shown because of heavy stroke. And if we set it to all fill over all stroke, now it will be perfect. No disturbance on any character, and the stroke will be below fill. And same thing here, that you will get under more options. You can change it from either panel. Changes will be shown on both. Let's change it to all fills over all strokes. When you don't want any stroke, just set it to none. Let me change its fill color and add some light color for it, say sky blue. Here we have one more option, that is inter-character blending. To see its effect, first you have to reduce the space between characters so that they will overlap to each other. Now if we expand this drop-down menu, you will find some blending modes. If you remember, we have already used it. So just change it and you will get different shadings on characters. Let's try another mode, and here is it. So you can do a lot with text inside of After Effects. In next lesson, we will learn some more tricks to animate text and how we can apply some predefined effects.